Our mission here at 190 Vision is to help every individual to be able to do what we do. However, you must earn your way through the process. Stay tuned to find out what that means. How do you earn your way to be able to do the things that 190 Vision does? It starts with you becoming the best version of yourself. That takes place with working with us for any kind of healing work that needs to take place, clearing, guidance, whatever it might be. You're given tools to use to help yourself to grow and move forward in your life, and to help you to be able to develop to the point where you can do the things that are done here. Honey, would you like to add anything to that?
I'd like to continue with it. How about that?
Okay, let's continue then.
Because we always stress that the first thing we do is we help an individual improve their situation.
Correct.
Right? That's the taking the plank out of your eye thing, right? Where you might think there are things wrong with other people, and you don't realize that you have to get fixed first. So to put it in a crude manner, we help you get yourself fixed first. I don't mean like dogs. That's the term they use, right?
Yes, when they fix animals.
Right, no, that's not what I mean.
No.
I mean like repair.
Correct.
Help the person get back on track. Once that part is done, then the individual decides, because it's a decision that the individual makes, if he or she wants to learn how they can help others accomplish what was accomplished with them.
Right.
Whatever it is that they accomplished, whichever way they improved their life. But we have individuals that come in and they request help, and once they're helped, they're gone. It's like they're not even bothered with trying to help anybody. We don't like those type, but then our job is to help everybody, right?
Correct.
And we'd rather have individuals that come in, they can help, and then they're willing to go and help somebody else, like spread the blessing. But it's free will. So anyways, if someone comes in and they're getting the help that they desire, they see improvement, then all of a sudden they get to a point where, for example, if they start to get involved in the community, in the Facebook group and the YouTube channel, and even maybe they're invited into a training group, right? They have different training groups. And they start to learn about these different levels of training. All of a sudden, someone that's an introductory member, they're requesting specific decrees because they hear about that decree, and they're saying something like, well, I think I need that because mine doesn't work. Well, you're not going to get it because this is not by request. The only thing that's by request here is the help that you're requesting. Everything else you have to earn. And how do you earn it? You earn it by you developing as an individual. And then it gets to a point then where we're guided as to, okay, this person, or we can see it ourselves, that you've reached a point where you're not blaming people anymore, right? You're taking responsibility for things. Whatever you're experiencing, it's not because of somebody else's fault anymore. Because as long as you're doing that, you're still stuck on where you came in. You're still at that level. You haven't improved one bit. You might think that you have, but the biggest thing with 190 Vision and what the Ascended Masters teach us is that we operate with love, unconditional love, which means that we don't judge. And when you don't judge, then how could somebody be anything negative? Right? That wouldn't happen.
Right, no.
Right? So if you're calling somebody a negative name, then you know that you have work to do yet. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing, it just means that you're not ready yet for another level. But we have individuals where they're still doing that. And they're still blaming people for things that they believe people are doing to them. But they expect to get what is considered an advanced tool. You're not ready for an advanced tool. You literally have to be more stable emotionally and mentally and spiritually to use those tools. Everything we have here is based on your level of frequency. And if you're not at the right level, it will do you more harm than good.
Oh no, we've seen that. Yes.
Where have you seen that?
As far as examples of individuals who are asking for the higher level tool, and they clearly are not ready for it from what I see with their situation. Because if they were to have that, I think things would just get worse for them, not even help them, because they don't know specifically how to use that tool and understand everything that goes with it.
Well, it's not even about knowing how to use the tool. Remember, the tools are tied to, well, not tied, but they're associated with a different level of vibration or frequency. That's how the tools are distributed. That's why when someone is given a set of decrees, they're given specific decrees. For example, we could have 6 introductory members, right?
Right.
How many of those introductory members would have the same decrees?
None of them.
So why not?
Because everyone's situation is different. Everyone's journey is different.
But see, you call it situation. However, that situation is what? Is tied to a certain frequency.
Right. So all their frequencies are different.
That's correct. And because of that, they have to be given decrees that will help them with the frequency, the level of frequency they happen to be.
Got it. To help raise their frequency.
Exactly.
I see.
All right? So if we were to give everyone, say that, for example, if someone gets a headache, they can go to the pharmacy, I almost said drugstore, that's what we say where I come from, right? They can go to the pharmacy and buy Tylenol. Because when someone is experiencing a headache, Tylenol gets rid of the headache.
Right.
And I think that people operate the same way when they come to 190 Vision. They're thinking, well, I'm an introductory member, so all of us get the same thing. No, this is not a pharmacy and it's not Tylenol. Your situation is unique, your frequency is unique to you. It's a different level than somebody else's, and so then you have to get the tools that will help you, that will best help you to develop faster.
Now, it's interesting you bring up a pharmacy example, because also a pharmacy painkiller for a headache could be an Excedrin, an Advil, it could be aspirin. So they're thinking, oh, well, I see everybody else getting that Tylenol, that will work for me too. But no, your frequency, everything is different. You might have to get one of the other ones.
Oh, I thought they were just different brands.
No, they're different. Actual, one's like acetaminophen, that's the Tylenol, and ibuprofen is the.
Don't they all do the same thing?
They do the same thing, but they're different drugs.
Okay, but that's what I'm
from
saying.
Different sources.
But they do the same thing.
They do the same thing.
So let me see if I understand it. So let's say, for example, someone is having a headache. If they went and got not Tylenol, something else, will that cure the headache?
Yes, it could, but the Tylenol may not be healthy for them. Why they have to be given something else.
What do you mean it wouldn't be healthy?
For example, someone might have an allergy to acetaminophen, which is what the main ingredient is in Tylenol.
Okay.
But they're okay with ibuprofen.
Got it. So that's, folks, I don't take any type of drugs of any kind. So if you're wondering why I ask these questions, it's because I don't take any drugs.
Now, I, on the other hand, had headaches for years before my husband started really getting into this work, and I took all kinds of things, and I would notice which ones would be more effective with me.
Okay. So it's a really good analogy then, after all. So I wasn't following that because I don't know about the different things. You're right, because for example, if someone gets a set of decrees and the frequency of those decrees is higher, their headache could get worse.
Yes.
So that would be like an allergic reaction.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
So, and that's what we want to make clear to everybody, okay, that these tools are associated with a different level of frequency. We have individuals, because they know, for example, if you're a trainee, you're being trained on how to better communicate with the Ascended Masters, right? Directly.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, folks are like, well, I'd like to do that, you know. You guys are not, what happens if you guys are not available or something? Then what? How do I get answers for myself? And they think that just because the trainees can do that, and the trainees are posting that in the Facebook group, and they're posting that just so that they know, so everybody knows, here's my experience, and you know what, when you get to this level, look forward to this experience. You'll have this experience, something similar, right? That doesn't mean, though, that they're ready for it.
Correct.
What they're not thinking about is for that trainee to get to where they are now, they had a lot of things they had to work through.
They had to go through all their introductory stuff as well.
You want to maybe give some details there without getting into specifics?
It's a process. You have to go through, without getting into specifics.
Well,
I always have
training,
stories I
right?
want to tell.
Yeah.
Right. It starts with training. There are different levels of training. And you start as the introductory, and you go through that training. And it helps you a lot in the beginning with changing your perception and your mindset.
That's the introductory members, that's where they get the introductory videos.
Correct.
That come out, I think, once a week or twice a week, or every day, I think. Whatever it is, but they get a series of videos.
Yes.
And those videos are there for them to start learning about the spiritual realm itself. So if they were to watch those videos and pay attention and apply what they're learning in those videos, that's a great help, because that's what those videos are sent out. I think a lot of individuals just watch those videos for entertainment.
Yes.
Or they don't watch them at all. Right?
Well, we've had many who've said, I didn't see that video. I'm like, well, that should have been sent out like your second or third day.
Exactly.
So
Right?
why have you not watched it?
So already they're not applying, they're not implementing.
Right.
So that's another thing. Here it's about implementation. There's not a book to read. You learn by implementing, and then you update us, or you update the group. All of a sudden somebody will say, oh, you just experienced this, right? You just went through this. And then you want explanation, you get the explanation, that's how you learn. So that's the introductory part. You have these videos that are sent to you.
That's like on-the-job training.
Exactly.
You go for a new job, you have to shadow someone or just start doing it right away. They just say, you know what, we're going to show you, and then you go do it. And then we'll fix things or help you adjust things or understand things as we go.
So that's the first part. The next part is, as far as the training group, that's Project Prosperity.
Right.
Now for that, you have to be invited into that group. And that's where we get the guidance as to who should be invited into that group.
Right.
Now you get into the training. The type of training there is what you were talking about earlier.
Right, the mindset changing and seeing things from a different perspective.
Now what do you mean by that? You have an example you could give?
Yes.
All right.
An example would be a woman who we work with who always said, you know, she wanted a perfect husband. And even though she was married to this man, she didn't think he was perfect. And then through the training, she realized, wait a second, in order for me to have the perfect husband, I need to be a perfect me. And then right after she did that, within a short time, she started to see her husband differently. The relationship got even closer, and things have been better for them. All because she changed her perception, her perspective of the whole situation, that I'm trying to force him to be something that I'm not. So she accepted that responsibility and changed it.
That's a very good one. That's a good example of perspective. I thought that you were going to bring up, for example, the biggest shift for me, what I call the paradigm shift, is where in Project Prosperity they start to get introduced to the fact that they are responsible for what happens in their life. And that's a profound thing for somebody. Like, what do you mean? You know, I have a very mean neighbor. How is that my fault? Because people see it as their fault, right?
Right, they do.
If they don't understand the concept. So until you can get past that, you're not ready for any advanced tools. Yeah, that's a very challenging concept to grasp.
Yes, it is.
You know, that you are the creator. You know, you're the one creating these things. So that's
Yes.
Project Prosperity there. You know, and so when someone gets introduced to that, it's there's that, maybe that's what people call awakening, when they have this awakening things that they talk about.
Oh, where they
Yeah.
realize that things are different than what they've...
Exactly, right? So maybe that's what people call awakening. Here, it's just Project Prosperity, because you literally start to experience prosperity in different ways
Yes.
in your life. Whatever
Different areas
is
of
most
your
important
life.
for you, exactly. People think it's financial, but it could be prosperity
In your
health.
family life,
Exactly.
your health, it could be with your job and career, it could be
That's right.
anything, any area.
And so now, an introductory person seeing posts from Project Prosperity member about, oh, guess what? Look at what happened to me. It's what I experienced. Like, I want that. How can I do that? Well, first you have to qualify to be a Project Prosperity.
Right. You have to first
participant.
start implementing what you've already been given.
Bingo. And until then, you're not ready yet. Plain and simple. So we always say, we've said this many times, that what we offer is for free. But not really, there's a catch. And that catch is what?
You have to implement and give regular updates.
Bingo. That's the catch. It costs you your time.
Yes.
You pay with your time. That is, you have to find time to update us, right? You have to find time to implement. And if you don't have time to do that, then whatever you're experiencing, don't be surprised that it continues to stay that way, because you are not changing what you're doing. You want help and progress, but you insist on doing the same things you were doing before you came to us for help. When you've been given tools that can help you change those things.
Right.
So that's where the co-creation comes in, right? So that's Project Prosperity. Then we go on to the trainees.
Yes.
And then there, what's the big thing? Oh, how is that different from Project Prosperity?
Now
Again, without giving details.
they're learning to be able to know when they're receiving information directly from the Ascended Masters.
Right? Communicating with their higher self, communicating
Yes.
with God directly on their
The
own.
spiritual
right?
realm.
So that they don't have to rely on us after a while on receiving guidance. See, before that, you contact us, could you give me guidance on this? All of a sudden you get to trainee, and then we're saying, you know what? Don't bother us with that.
It's
You
time
know how
for
to
you
do
to,
it.
it's time for you to start
Exactly.
doing it.
I said it starts, no, it's not the major decisions, right? But it's
Right,
time to
no.
practice on the minor decisions.
And they work their way up.
Exactly. And they start to understand, I do have that connection with a higher being, in our case, God, because they see proof. But all of a sudden, someone from Project Prosperity or an introduction member might see a post in the Facebook group that, guess what I did? I went to the store and I did this and
I used
did
this
that.
tool and I got this awesome answer and result.
And it worked out for my family. And that person about, I want that, how could I do that? You can do that once you're balanced, once you balance your emotions, once you realize that you are in control and that there's nobody to blame for anything.
And you are
Not
a
even yourself.
co-creator.
No, but you don't blame yourself. I want to make that clear.
Right.
And some people do that. They put themselves down.
Right.
They get depressed because they're a loser. Or,
You've got to learn to love yourself.
exactly. That's the bottom line, right? And no matter what somebody tells you, you interpret it how? In a positive manner.
Yes.
You don't go interpreting anything anybody tells you in a negative way. People talk about read between the lines. Between the lines is space, this blank space. What is there to read? Nothing.
You're putting something there.
Exactly. Right? So you don't spend time on that. If there's anything for the Ascended Masters to show you, they'll show you. You don't try to figure stuff out. I wonder what they're trying to do. You don't need to do that. I wonder if my husband is cheating on me. You don't need to figure that out.
No.
You'll be shown when the time comes that that's really taking place. And when you're ready for it. And when you do find out, you don't want to get a gun and shoot your husband. You don't do that, right? Because you're shown it at that point because you're ready to deal with it in the sense that with love.
Right.
You see it and you understand it, you know who you're dealing with. You don't go and say, you bum, this is what you're doing. You don't do that.
No.
So that's all part of growing up to the next level. And then we have the trainers group, right? And at that point, it's really advanced stuff now because at that point they're learning to heal. So all of a sudden they can heal themselves and their loved ones, and they can heal other people. So if you want to learn to heal, you will have to qualify to be a trainer. But to get there, you have to go through the different stages. You have to earn your way there. And the way you earn your way is by implementing. And as we see it, then you're invited we're guided by the Ascended Masters to include you in a certain training group.
That's right.
So you don't need to give us stories hoping that certain information will be released to you, a certain training will be released to you. It's not going to happen. It's not us. We get guided. Go ahead and say something.
Something. Yes, that's exactly how it works. So, I mean, we have individuals who come here who've been doing some kind of spiritual work already and energy work, and they understand, because we make it very clear, everybody starts at the beginning in the same spot. And we are always guided as to, okay, this person is ready, they've done this, and it was a short time for them, okay, they moved on to the next thing. But it's all based on what you implement. If they come in and they don't implement, they're going to stay right where they are, just like everybody else. So just do what is given to you. Follow the videos, implement what you are learning.
It's, for example, here's a great example. Now we're dealing with past lives.
Yes.
And if you're a trainee, you have a session, a past life session, a past life regression session, right?
Yes.
So every trainee is, I think, already scheduled for that, correct?
Yes,
Some
they
have
are.
already done it. Some are about to get it done.
Right.
All of a sudden, we got guidance to go through a past life regression with a couple individuals. One is not even in Project Prosperity.
No, still an introductory member. Yes.
But we were guided that this person should be taken through a past life regression session. So again, to show that it's not personal, and I even told you, I waited, at least a couple weeks before we started the first
Yes.
one. Is this even correct? Let me see. And then he came up
He
with
got all this confirmation. He's like, well, okay, let me just wait another day. And boom, we get another confirmation.
So because I really thought that it was only for trainees.
Right.
All of a sudden here it was like, no. And then the other individual is a Project Prosperity member. It's not even a trainee, but
Right.
we're guided, and so we did that.
That's right.
And that's how this works, folks. It's nothing personal. It has nothing to do with us. So you could send us cakes and you could be so nice to us. It's not going to change the guidance. Just to let you know, we follow guidance. You want to add anything to that?
No, I think we've really covered it. Everybody starts in the same spot, and based on how they implement it and are being able to update us and let us know what's taking place. When the guidance comes through, we let them know, and they just continue moving on through their journey.
Right. For example, if you're a Project Prosperity participant, you will still have to earn your way to be a trainee. Don't think it's automatic that because you're a Project Prosperity participant, that when that training is done, because it ends a certain time, that you automatically are moved up to trainee. No, you have to earn that. You might continue to be a Project Prosperity participant. It doesn't mean that you failed.
No,
so don't
not
take
at
it
all.
like that, or it's a demotion.
More work has to be done with your frequency.
Exactly. Your frequency is not where it's supposed to be yet. To be involved in the training as a trainee. That's all it means. And you could be a trainee, and when that training comes to an end, you might not be invited to the trainer training because your frequency is not ready yet. It's not the level for you to do the work necessary at the trainer level.
So practicing patience, staying right where you are, and continuing to implement will help you to raise your frequency and get yourself ready to move on.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's about implementing. The more you implement, the more you learn, and then implement more. Ask questions. No question is a terrible question. Every question is a positive question. You might think it's redundant, you might think it's silly, but that's not so. Again, because we don't judge.
And a great place to ask the questions is within the Facebook group, because there are so many different individuals there with all different experiences who can help you and give you feedback that could pretty much help you move on.
Or in there, because each training group have their own chat room. So they could put it in there as well, right?
Well, if they're not a part of those training groups yet, it's best to do the Facebook group.
Okay, right. If you're not part of those training groups, then go to the Facebook group, yes.
All right, folks, we'll see you in the next video. Remember to subscribe and like this video. Join the Facebook group 190 Vision to connect with others on the same journey. Get help by visiting our website 190vision.com. Support the 190 Vision mission by clicking on the donate button, which is at the bottom of each page of our website.